stage, Mike Zakarian.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Welcome back. We get the NBA bit this morning. Hope everybody's off to, just a warmer start to the day. I'll be honest. I thought I was going to be out for today because here's what happened yesterday. All right. Yesterday it was really cold. But that's fine. And I did a little shoveling after the show, got out, cleared the sidewalk, cleared the stoop. And then I took a break because everything I've read is like you shouldn't be shoveling too much, especially as you get into your 40s. You got to pace yourself. And then I was like, let me go shovel out the car. Those unfamiliar with living in a city, what ends up happening is the plow comes through and it just kind of walls up, bricks up, if you will, the cars on both sides of the road. We have street parking. And I got to tell you, that was a two-handed shovel, bro. Two-handed shovel. And it was full nightmare scenario. My back almost called it quits. I thought last night I was sipping on a little brouhaha with an ice pack wrapped around my back like this for a good 2 hours. But we survived. But it was some scary stuff. Out there. We're feeling better today. Hope everybody is. Hope you guys are doing well. We got a weird one today. We got a weird show, I think, because we're gonna be the Charlotte Hornets. I think for the first time in NBA bit history, made the thumbnail. That's what's happening in the world. We got Sneeps in the chat. Happy National Plan a Vacation Day. Thank you, Snoopaloop. That's a good one. Ordered 50 hamburgers in the drive-thru. What am I missing here? Why did you order 50 burgers in the drive-thru? Was it a mistake? Were you going full Tim Robinson? I think you should leave. Well, what happened there? Or is that like some promo after the Hornets got a W? We got the common man in the chat, Matic Otto. Look, good to see you. All right, we're gonna touch on last night's action. We'll look at tonight's action. Shout out Weisberg too. If you missed that one, he was here yesterday breaking some stuff down. We also had a midday live before lock. Oh, Giannis ordered 50 after scoring 50. Did somebody score? Did I miss a 50 piece? Did you score 50 last night? We got Matty Harrison. We all knew Grant Williams came back, would start clicking. Did I miss somebody scoring 50? Let me check this Hornets score, because I'll be honest, I did not sweat the Hornets out because they were up 130. All right. Nobody scored 50. What the fuck are you talking about, regulator? Anyways, we got can I start with this? Guys? The Hornets went up. That is a loose thread. That is a very no. I understand Giannis scoring 50. Giannis scored 50 and then he ordered 50 nuggets. You scored. So why did you order 50 hamburgers? Because your team was up 50? That's a loose thread to pull here. That's a loose thread. I don't know. What are we doing? I'm trying to think of a funny comparison. Whatever. That's fine. Anyways, I want to go over to Underdog here for a second because I want you guys to know, I love that you guys all got, so Giannis scored 50 in the finals, won an NBA championship, ordered 50 nuggets. The Hornets won 130 to 93, which is not 50, and then you went and ordered 50 burgers from the drive-thru. And all of you dumbasses got it? I can't believe I didn't get it. No, I get the 50 burger reference. They didn't even win by 50. They didn't even win by 50. Oh, that's good. You guys are good. Honestly, I think everybody that got that joke, I'm not even going to call it a joke. Anybody that got that reference is a dumbass. All right, let's. I wanted to start here. You ever see Ocean's 11 and the guy talks in riddles and says it's all gone to Barney, and he looks at them like they're dumb and says rubble? Yeah, great stuff. Let's go over to Underdog here for a second. Shout out the Ocean's movies. All right, so I want to show you guys what happened last night. So, first of all, I'm not going to complain because we won money, okay? I'm not going to complain because we won money, all right? But I'm going to complain a little bit. Last night, Denny Avdia does not play basketball. And then the Golden State Warriors, even though after the game Sunday said Steph was going to play on Monday, Steph Curry gets ruled out. And then what ends up happening is Chris Finch and the Minnesota Timberwolves were like, oh, Steph and Draymond aren't playing? Let's sit Anthony Edwards. So I had 32% Denny Avdia, I had 20% Anthony Edwards, and I had 19% Steph Curry. So this should have been a dog shit night. I'm referencing that at the top so that my complaints come with whatever. Last night we finished, okay, this lineup comes in 8th place right here, okay? 8th place. We had the old Goon. Şengün goes for a 50 spot. KD goes for a 46 spot. We had Nikola Vucevic for 39. Kling Kong with 40. Rudy Gobert with 44. Cam Spencer with 35. Okay, this finishes in 8th place. I want you to know that with like 9 minutes left, Rudy Gobert grabs a rebound. Or no, it's like 7 minutes left. Rudy Gobert grabs a rebound. Mike Zacks is in first place for 7K. Though, the Timberwolves are up 30, so maybe Regulator would have gone and got a 50 piece. Would he got 50 burgers? You know, it would have went right through the drive-thru. There we go. Yes, thank you, Regulator. Chris Finch leaves the Warriors call timeout. They're up 30 with like 7 minutes left. Finch leaves his starters in. Dante DiVincenzo gets hot, and we drop from first place to 8th place. It was devastating. I was so mad. Nez and I should have gone 1-2 last night. Instead, we went like 8-10 or 8-11, something like that. Anyways, let's start with that game though, so we can all understand why Regulator. Yeah, we could have got. No, I would have gotten 8,000 burgers probably, because the 7,000 would have made too much sense. The Hornets win this one, 130-93. Charlotte is good. We're at that point, guys. The Hornets are just good at basketball. Charles Lee, Coach of the Year. Con Knippel, Rookie of the Year. Grant Williams, Batman of the Year. Yeah, he subbed McDaniels back in on 30 Sunday. It was insane. I couldn't believe it. I already started. I was like, well, I got to move X amount. I got to move like 3,000 over for tax. I was already thinking about it. Oh. Anyways, yeah, dude, I know, Regulator. Listen, I'm happy for Charlotte. This is fun, and I like that they're doing it with Miles Bridges playing like shit. That's like my favorite part of this Charlotte run. They have been ripping off W's, and that domestic abuser has been bad. And I like that. I like that the team thrives while Miles Bridges dives. I hope they trade him just so I can really lean into this team. But Charlotte is fun, man. Brandon Miller just absolutely hooping. He's sub McDaniels, so some people can get some McDonald's. There you go. Yeah, he's a great fourth option in prison. So, listen, look at this Brandon Miller game, dude. And you know what was kind of fun about this? I don't know how many people listened to the Zach Lowe podcast yesterday. He had Mo Tequila on, which I always love when Mo comes on. They were talking about Charlotte for quite a bit. Charlotte was one of the teams they talked about. There we go. Sanjay Rich plugging the bagel with locks, which, by the way, if you haven't checked out today's Cooking with Cade, you got it. And Miles Bridges parentheses POS, which also means Mikal Bridges non-POS. But they were talking about Brandon Miller kind of, just being like, can he take the leap defensively? They were comparing him to Paul George, which I thought was kind of fun. I really like this team, and they've just got a lot of pieces. And I think, they were a team that I was kind of interested to see what they were going to do during the trade deadline. Do they try to get better? Do they try to move off some pieces and like let's get one more good draft pick? But looking at the rest of the Eastern Conference, if they're going to keep doing this, like they are pounding teams. If they are going to keep doing this, I mean, they're just going to be in the play-in. And there is a world where you get into the play-in and then still end up in the lottery, right? But this is just a fun team, and Miller's rap is getting smaller. That definitely helps. But anyways, 9 for 11 from the field. Never forget. 30-8 is fun. Moussa Diabate 12-5 in his 20-minute. All these guys only had to play 20 minutes. LaMelo 11-8. You had Connie 12-8-6. It's a deepish team here. Zach Lowe did reference how Saloon, the second-year guy, right, to Johnny Saloon, had been playing better this year, but that Grant Williams is stealing some of his minutes, not because they need to get Batman on the floor, but maybe because they can trick a team into trading for Batman, which is kind of fun. But they got Sex God. They can move off of him and not lose too much, although I don't think they do. It's a good team, man. It's a fun team. They're still like, I shouldn't say it's a good team. It's a team with like a nucleus that makes sense, with a core that makes it like the infrastructure seems to be there. Weisberg says still one of the funniest pre-draft things I've ever seen was Miller saying PG was his GOAT. Yeah, hey, listen, man, call your shots. You want to be a contrarian, be a contrarian. I'd rather you do that than start an Alex Jones type YouTube. You know what I mean? You want to be contrarian? Just say Paul George is the best player of all time. Still a 12th seed, Stan, but I tell you what, who do you feel better about right now, the Charlotte Hornets or the Miami Heat? Charles Lee, greater than sign. Eric Spoelstra. Anyway, Charlotte's playing well right now, 130-93. If you look at the standings, I'm not going to look too much about Philly. I'm not going to look too much about Philly here, look into it too much. But anyways, they're winners of 3 in a row, 6-4 in their last 10. If we look at their upcoming schedule here, let's see what they can do. Right? So in their last, like that last 10, right, that 7 wins over Utah, whatever, they lost to the Clippers, whatever. They beat the Lakers, they lost to Golden State, they beat the Nuggets, they lost to Cleveland, and then Orlando, Washington, Philadelphia. Now, upcoming, Memphis, they might just straight up be favored against Memphis and favored against Dallas, even though it's on the road. Then they have San Antonio at home, most likely an L. That's a really bad matchup. Then New Orleans, Houston, a bad matchup. Atlanta, Detroit, I think they could probably go some 500 ball. And when you look at 500 is maybe a little too aggressive, but you look at the standings, man, and it's not like you're scared of the teams in front of them. Atlanta, they're only a half game back behind the Cucks right now. They're 3.5 behind Atlanta and 4.5 behind Chicago. Now, I think probably the smart thing to do for this team is to be like, hey, listen, we're going to try to win games, but we're not going to go nuts here to make sure we get into the play-in game. If we get there, we get there. But we don't have to make any big moves. We don't have to do any big swings. Worst case scenario here is we fall into the lottery or we stay in the lottery. We get another really good pick to line up with all these bros, right? That's probably the move. But, man, this team's fun. This team's just like a good league pass team. They're fun. As a long-term play, shouldn't they try to stay in the lottery? Yeah, that's what I mean. I think, listen, if you win games, you win games. I don't think you should suck forever. I think they have their core. I think you just go. You just keep going. If you get into the play-in, you get into the play-in. I don't think you should actively tank, though. Vibes are too good to be fucking around with that. If, say over the next 15 games, they go 6-9 or 5-10, wow, that's not bad. 6-10. What did I say? Whatever the fuck I'm saying. I'm losing math now. I think if they do that, if they 4 or 5 games under 500 over their next 15 or 20, and they would have to really go on a run to get in the play-in, then maybe they slow it down a little. Then maybe they pump the brakes and just kind of say, hey, LaMelo, you take tonight off. Yeah, and Regulator said if the Hornets make any trades, it'll be a tanking move. I don't even know if I'd consider this tanking. But Sexton or Grant Williams, those to me feel like the two pieces that could get moves. Sanjay says think they've shown any random night they can compete. Either they hit every shot or shoot tour dates. Yeah. And then you got Sixers schedule about to get tougher and feature more back-to-backs. That's true. And we are talking about Charlotte. Yeah. All right. So anyways, good win for them. Just quickly on Philly, I'm not really concerned about this. Philly rested and beat Paul George. And I think they just got punched in the mouth early and then called it quits. Hornets outscored them in the second quarter by 19, 41-22. And then after that, they got 40-15 third quarter. It was kind of curtains after that. Sixers were on the front end of a back-to-back, so they rested Embiid. They rested Paul George. They get Milwaukee tonight, so I expect we see Milwaukee move. You don't think Bridges doesn't get? I don't think Bridges gets moved. I don't, because I don't know if the desperate, I don't know how desperate some of these teams are going to be, and so I don't know who's we're a Miles Bridges away. We need someone who can get us 14 and 6. But also maybe hit a woman, I don't know what team is we're just one domestic abuser away. So I don't know. I don't know what they do. But yeah, Philly here, Power Duster saying, Power Duster just making sure to remind us that Nick Nurse plays his guys a ton of minutes. They only played 25 minutes. They only played 25 minutes last night. And yeah, Weisberg mentioned it too. About that game starting early yesterday because of the weather. So I don't know. I'm not really worried about Philly. I think both Maxey and VJ go. I do agree that they should probably get a rest here soon, but I don't think they will because it's Nick Nurse. But the way they've been managing Embiid, I think, is good. And again, this team being 3 games over 500, that seems about right, you know? That seems about right. All right, what else last night? The other early game was the Atlanta Hawks. The Pacers came out hot. Benedict Mathurin, baby, welcome back. Oh, Canada. Played 25 minutes in his return, 6 for 10 from the field. He had 16. That's pretty fun. You had 16 from TJ McConnell, 16 and 3. Spicy P with a 26 and 9 line. Nemby with 13 dimes. And then Neesmith got into double figures with 18 as well. But Atlanta, this was the bench. The bench kind of cooked for this team. CJ McCollum, 23, 8, and 7 in 28 minutes. Very efficient. Just kind of cooked McConnell out there. You had Koloko playing some heavy minutes. Jalen Johnson, a little disappointing for you fantasy bros. He did have 5 stocks, which is fun, but a 15, 7, and 6 line. And then, the internet all came together because Dyson Daniels hit a 3, and everybody's like, oh, my God. Oh, my God. Yeah, Dyson Daniels had 22 and 9 in this one, and then 21 and 4. Atlanta's such an interesting team, man. I would like to see them make a run, but this is, it doesn't matter if Trae Young's on the team or not on the team. It seems like they're going to be a 500 squad. They are somebody to pay attention to at the trade deadline, but as we talked about yesterday, man, with all these teams just getting dinged up and hurt, I just don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. Bridges should go and play in Serbia. Yeah, go let him get his ass kicked. I would like that. When are we going to talk about McCain, those 2 months last year? Yeah, I mean, I think there's a combination of things that happened with McCain going back to Philly just for a second. I mean, Jared McCain got hurt. It was a season-ending type injury that takes a little while to come back from. But, I mean, his spot was gone when he came back. And I think the McCain run was kind of fun. But VJ Edgecomb is awesome. Is awesome. How is Scotty still plus 3,000 for Defensive Player of the Year? I don't know. Plus 3,000 seems pretty high. I mean, I understand why he's behind Wemby, but if Wemby is no longer eligible because he can't play 65 games, although, is that still a rule? Do you have to play 65 games for DP? I think you do. Who else is favored ahead of him, Power Duster? And then some fan told TJ he ran Trae Young out of Atlanta, and TJ laughed. It was funny. That's good. Yeah. Anyways, all right, let's keep going. Atlanta, yeah, good win, but it's against the Pacers. Whatever. The Cavs beat the Magic. Vibes stay bad here. Cleveland, though, Moby Dick and Donovan Mitchell were cooking in this one. Mobes had 20 and 9 with 2 blocks in there, but defensively was pretty solid around the rim, even though Paolo got loose in the second half. Paolo, man, had Paolo did dick in the first half, and then in the second half, went nuts, although the Magic only scored 17 points in the fourth quarter when the Clampies came out. But he had 37 and 10 in this one, only 2 turnovers, but again, in a loss. Weird night from Bane and Suggs, who Bane and Black, where Black had 3 steals and I think 12 points in the first half. The first quarter, maybe he was cooking. Bane, same thing, and then they did nothing in the second half. Suggs played 27 minutes, so good to see he's almost full go, but Orlando's basically the Atlanta Hawks, except we give them higher expectations. They're just 1 game over 500. And then Cleveland now, I don't know if I'm ready to believe in Cleveland, and I think their schedule has been helpful for them to get things right, but they're just ripping off W's right now. They're ripping off W's. They were still without Sam Merrill came back, didn't play this one. But dude, they found something in Jalen Tyson, second year Jalen Tyson, who congrats on the Castrol Oil's Rising Star appearance. He had 14 and 9 in this one. Spida, again, man, Spida was great. 15 for 25 from the field. He had 45, 4 and 4. I mean, not a lot coming from the bench, though, and that's why I saw Weisberg's comment about them being better without Garland. I don't think so. I don't think I'm ready to do that, and I know, standings-wise, it makes sense. But I don't think so. I think this had more to do with schedule, and I think they need Garland. Oh, this is what I'll say. They need to reach full potential. They do need Garland. Power Duster looking for their upcoming schedule. Yeah, the big lineup, right, with Wade in there. Although Wade's been starting for a little bit now. This has been their starting lineup for a little bit. Cavs upcoming schedule. Yeah, good question, Power Duster. Let's see. Are they about to make a run or get their ass kicked? So they have the Lakers on Wednesday on the worldwide leader, and then they go west. They get at Phoenix, who maybe they have booked, maybe not, probably not. Then at Portland, then at the Clippers, at the Kangs, at Denver, which Yoki's will be back by then, and then home against Washington, Brooklyn, Charlotte. So I don't know. I expect Cleveland to start moving up the standings a little bit, and I expect Orlando to still be pretty mid. Let's go another Eastern Conference team here, Celtics. Man, I got to tell you, I was pretty uninspired by this Celtics W, and like I don't. It was just kind of like they win 102-94. But at home, after dropping a game to Chicago on the road, Celtics come out and they outscore them 32-11, and then just kind of held on for dear life. And I watched a lot of this second half, and the offense was just it felt stuck in the mud a little bit. And maybe you credit that to Portland, who like Kamara played some decent defense on JB last night. But like Klingon, 9-15, Klingon continues to just eat up boards against Boston. And this is like one of the few teams where, because the Celtics have been a solid crash the glass type team, but this is a tough matchup for Boston. And you saw Time Lord do okay off the bench for them too. Drew Holiday's minutes slowly getting up to 24. Denny Avdia, who he did not play last night, but it does sound like he's going to be good to go in a revenge spot against the Wizards. But on the Celtics side of stuff, like JB 20-8, Derek Whiteman is in a really tough stretch right now, and he got the night off against Brooklyn, right? And then came back against Chicago, didn't really do too much in that game. And like you just look at the stat line, you're like, oh, well, he had 18 points, 7 for 14 from the field, but the 9 turnovers, he just doesn't look comfortable. And I think, there's been a lot of attention put on Jaylen Brown and how impressive he's been this year. Rightfully so. I mean, he's still 4th in the league in scoring right now at 29.6, I think, a game. And like JB's been awesome, but I think Derek White's being asked to do just a little bit too much. And because he has to take on such a heavy defensive load, he does like guard rim protection. He's usually getting the best assignment because the Jordan Walsh experiment kind of flamed out, right? And now we're also like, hey, can you initiate offense? Can you shoot 40% from 3? Can you do this? Can you do that? And I think it's just weighing on him a little bit. So I don't really love the stuff with Derek White right now, but I think when Tatum comes back, if he comes back, when he comes back, it will be a little bit better here. Pritchard, the 3-ball, the shooting, I think Peyton Pritchard, who I know a lot of people are like, he's playing too many minutes. He's been really good lately. He had 23. I mentioned JB 28, but like real quick here, Amari Williams, the rookie big. So Luka Garza, the sweatiest man in America, he was ruled out with an illness, right? Then Amari Williams comes in, number 77. And I like that. We need more 77, some throwbacks, baby. Amari Williams comes out there. He plays 26 minutes. Nemi got into some foul trouble in the first half, and Amari went out there at 9-7, had 3 stocks. And I don't think Amari's going to do anything real, but I do think it's a little bit interesting only because the Celtics seem to be a team that's constantly in trade talks about like upgrading the big position. And I wonder, during this stretch of basketball here leading up to the All-Star break, because the Celtics have a light-ish schedule before like the Houston and Knicks come into town, I wonder if they give him a little bit more run to just kind of be like, hey, do we have anything here? He was hooping in the G League, but comparing the G League to what's happening here, like whatever. But can they steal like 15 minutes from this guy a night? And so I'm curious to see how Joe uses Amari moving forward. Maybe it's just like break in case of emergency, but I don't know. That's kind of fun. That's kind of fun for a second-round guy who showed some fun stuff in – I still remember his Summer League comments where he was like, yeah, I kind of like modeled my game after Jokic, which I was like, all right, dude, fucking chill. But the idea that you can like play through him and how he's a decent passer. So I don't know. I'm curious. Maybe just a dart throw, though. Power Duster said, is betting overs on players' homecoming revenge games a good play, or do books tend to adjust? I mean, I think it all depends. Like, I knew Time Lord was going to get maybe a little bit more minutes than he normally did because it's the front end of a back-to-back, and I just assume he doesn't play tonight. So you could take that. You can mess around with that if you want to, but I think more often than not, I only use it on, like, certain players. Russell Westbrook, I believe in those narratives. Pritchard got banged up at the end. Yeah. All right. That's good to know. Gershon Yabusele for Big Dick Nick Rich. Now that's a trade that won't impact anything, but very interesting. Thank you, regulator. Anyway, Celtics get the W. They move on 12 games over 500 now, which again, I still can't believe it. Lakers into Chicago Bulls. This was like, Luka cooked in this one. Luka, 46 points, 12 dimes, 7 boards, only 3 turnovers. And you know what? We can play the drop. Let's do a little Luka magic, even though he's in a Mavis jersey.
Luka magic.
Luka's good, man. Good, yeah, good at basketball. DeAndre Ayton. I got to tell you, I think the DeAndre Ayton thing is up. In one of the best matchups in basketball, the big man against the Chicago Bulls defense, dominating, played 22 minutes. He had 6 points and 2 boards. He was a minus 15 in a game the Lakers won by 11. Jackson Hayes played more minutes than dominating last night. Jackson Hayes also, I was kind of in a sleepy stupor. Let me see if I can find it, because I was in a sleepy stupor last night trying to see what Rudy Gobert was going to do, and I'm looking around at some highlights, and I'm pretty sure I saw Jackson Hayes do some crazy shit. Yes, I did. All right. Can we look at this here? Can we look at this here for a second? All right, hold on. Let's pull this up. I don't know how many people saw this. Did you guys see this?
How about full game magic right now?
That one.
Jackson Hayes with the turnover.
Jackson Hayes.
Ready?
Jackson Hayes all the way. Yes!
Through the leg.
Oh! Jackson windmilling.
Jackson Hayes.
I mean, again, even though he's on the all domestic abuse team, I was pretty impressed to see him do that. Okay, Power Duster wants to make sure we talk about Luka being out of shape and fat again. I think Luka's second half is going to be fine. I mean, like, second half what? Do I think he's going to play into his late 30s like LeBron? No, I don't think that. But, I mean, I think Luka's game... Yeah, I did. I threw it in there. POS Jackson Hayes. I threw that in there. I don't think Luka's game is that's reliant on intense athleticism, you know? Like, I don't think he has to have the Russell Westbrook body to do that. So to dribble up slowly and continue to just body people with his big body. I think Luka's going to be fine. I do think, like, we saw, there was a clip of Luka defending Harden in the last game against the Clippers where he just, like, truly locked up Harden. I don't think he's going to have that in his bag in his second half of his career. Like, I think the defense might become such a problem later in life. But I think Luka's offensive game, which is what makes him elite, is going to, I think, continue to cook there. But yeah, Jackson Hayes, I agree with that comment. That dunk was pretty nasty there. But anyways, Lakers get the W. Giddey here off the bench again. He played 28 minutes, though, so I imagine he starts this next game, had 19, 7, and 6 in his 28 minutes. Kobe White's been hooping lately. He had 23, 6, and 5, and 31. And then we're going to slowly see Vucci's his stuff come down a little bit, his usage with the return of both, like, Kobe playing 30-plus and now Giddey playing 30-plus, but he's still at 18 and 11. Bulls fall back down to 500. Lakers now 28 and 17. This game was kind of fun here. Rockets win this one 108-99, okay? I don't know how Memphis stayed close. Like, Houston, I got to tell you, I kept not really picking on Minnesota, who we're going to talk about in a second, but they seem to, like, just play down to their opponents sometimes, or they don't seem, I don't know, they don't seem like fully, it seemed like their record is better than what their performance feels like. And here's another example of that. Like, last night, this is the starting five for the Grizzlies. Jaren Jackson Jr., Santi Aldama, Cedric Coward, Jalen Wells, and Cam Spencer. Like, they couldn't even Jacques Landale didn't play, and we were like, oh my God. Jalen Wells has been bad, by the way, lately. He had 12 and 6. But anyways, Cam Spencer, he had 13 dimes, 5, 13, and 5 in this one. Triple J, 17 and 7. Also Santi Aldama, 17 and 7. Coward played 30 minutes, which is pretty fun. That's actually interesting here. Are we going to see Coward play 30 plus now moving forward? He had 8 and 7 in this one. But the Houston starters, once again, logging heavy minutes. Amen Thompson continues to get there from a fantasy perspective because he's playing 40 fucking minutes a game. He had 8 with 14 dimes and a steal. Tari Eason, 17 and 7 with his 2 steals and a block. KD hooping, baby. KD's 33 and 8. What's KD's stats here last 10 games? Let's look at this up real quickly. Kevin Durant's last 10 games. In his last 10, he's averaging 27.6 points per game, 7 rebounds per game, and 4.7 assists. Man, KD has been hooping. I am, like, deathly afraid right now of the amount of minutes this guy is cooking here. This seems scary. Will the Rockets trade for a PG? I have no idea what Houston's going to do. I have no idea. They have signaled they're not going to do anything. We talked a little bit about it yesterday, but I don't know. Goon had 33, 9, and 6. Also 5 turnovers in this one. And then Jabari Smith, 8 and 8. Jabari Smith, interestingly enough, got benched to start the second half. I believe Josh Okogie, who ended up logging 25 minutes, he started the second half. And then Reed Shep, only 15, going 0 for 7 from 3. Jesus. Rockets get the win, though. 12 games over 500. Grizzlies fall to 18 and 26. And the last game of the night, I referenced this. So Minnesota won by 25. So make sure you go get 50 burgers. There's like Golden State. I talked about this at the top, but Golden State rules out Steph and Dre, and then Minnesota turns around and is like, hey, Anthony Edwards isn't playing either, which was so frustrating. But look at this starting five. The Pod God played 28 minutes. Pat Spencer, we got double Spencer night. He had 10, 6, and 5. Moses Moody played 26 minutes, didn't really do anything. And then Post and Santos. This team, oh, man, Buddy Hield, 2 for 10 in 29 minutes. Good stuff, Buddy. Regular season, Randall, 18 and 7. McDaniels, I mentioned, somehow played 30 minutes. Rudy, 35 minutes in a game you won by 25. He had 15 and 17, 3 stocks. And then Dante, all of his threes came at garbage time, essentially, which absolutely ruined me. He had 15 and 8, and then 4 stocks from him. Excuse me, Minnesota now. 9 games over 500. Warriors are just getting ready to help Stan Loves pay me. Now, let me catch up on the chat here. Would be somewhat stupid not to maximize this game. Well, I kind of disagree. I know what you're saying, DJP, but this team's so young. I don't see them forfeiting assets. You know, the real thing. Like, it's nice they have KD, but the real core is Amen, Jabari, Şengün, right? Reed Shepherd. That's the real core, you know? Who would you rather have for the next 2-year playoff run, KD or Tatum, including this? So you're saying this postseason and next postseason? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'd rather have KD this one, and I'd rather have Tatum for the next one. So that doesn't really answer it. Excuse me. That doesn't really answer it, but that's where I would land. Like, KD obviously is going to be way closer to 100% this season than Tatum, but I'd rather have Tatum next year. I'd rather have him do it next year. Anyways, okay, so let's look at the standings here. You see the Pistons, Celtics, Raps, Knicks, Cavs, and then you get the Sixers, the Heat, the Magic, the Bulls, and the Hawks with the Hornets breathing down the Bucks' neck. West is fun, though. So OKC is a 5.5 game lead. And then it's Spurs and Nugs. Spurs and Nugs tied right there at 31 and 15. Only Denver playing tonight. Rockets here now in the 4 seed still. Well, they get that half-game cush with the Lakers a half game behind them. Timberwolves, a full game behind the Lakers there in the 6th seed. And then it's the Suns. Suns who's still hanging around there with the Warriors, the Trailblazers, and the Clips behind them. That's going to be your top 10 right now. That's going to be your top 10. Let's look at the schedule for tonight. We're going to actually do a little mental health check because I feel we get a little shortness of breath over here. Because we're talking too much. But I'm just not going to do it, guys. And it feels good to not cave to the chat because I am the boss. Like I said earlier, I'm in charge today. I am in charge. You can't tell me what to do. All right, so we got 7 games tonight. 7 games tonight, all starting at regular time. Traily Blazers are taking on the Wizards. Blazers on the back end of a back-to-back, right? So Portland, this line opened up at 6.5. It's now 7.5. My guess is no Time Lord tonight, right? So maybe Kling Kong gets to eat a little bit more. Klingian only played 28 minutes last night. Maybe we get 33 from him if this game stays competitive. Also, Denny sounds like he's back. Denny, the comments yesterday were from Sean Hyken. They expect to see Denny play the second end of the back-to-back as they return to Washington. Revenge. There's your revenge spot, Power Duster. For Washington, they might get Bilal Coulibaly back, which actually slows down the upside of Denny a smidge, but Keyshawn George should be hooping. Alex Sarr should be hooping. And also, like, a little shout-out to Trey Johnson, who has really come on here in the last couple of days. Trey Johnson's been really good, shooting the 3-ball, chucking and ducking. So that should be, I don't know. I kind of like this game. 231.5 point total. That's fun. The Bean Boys. Kings go Bean Boys versus Bing Bong Boys. I hate this game. Knicks are favored by 13.5. I don't love anything here. Sabonis, we should note, moved into the starting lineup, played 25 minutes against the Pistons. 30 minutes in a game that he started up 2 games ago where he was off the bench but then started the second half. He should start. I mean, if you think this game stays close, all of these guys are good. I don't know what to do with it, though. I don't know what to do with it. And then we've got Bucks and 76ers. Bucks and 76ers. We already mentioned Embiid and PG missed yesterday. I expect they are good to go tonight. If you're in the fantasy streets, listen, projections are going to come out at noon. Ryan Rollins, who's going pick 23, is going to project to go like pick 12. I'm not going to take him at 12. I'm going to take him right now until he gets really expensive. Talked about it on Bagel with Locks. Cat is good, but I just don't love it. I don't love it. Power Duster, the Celtics already did a road trip, West Coast road trip. They went 5-1 where they beat, it was when JB got 50 against the Clippers. I think they beat the Jazz. It was like the Jazz, the Clippers. I know they lost to the Trailblazers. Maybe it was 4-1 and they beat, and the Kings maybe. They're about to go back out there again where they play, I want to say it's like the Warriors, it's Denver, it's Phoenix, and then maybe the Lakers, but they go back out there. I think Cat's fine. I just don't trust any of these Knicks right now. They're kind of a bummer. Anyways, Ryan Rollins from Milwaukee, Bobby Portis. I won't be taking the Miles Turner stuff. Thunder here are favored by 14.5, but I don't know. I feel like these games stay closer than they are. Thunder are without Hartenstein, A.J. Mitchell, Alex Caruso, Jalen Williams, Topic still, and iHeart, and maybe even Case and Wallace. So I'll be getting to some of the Pellies here. I think they'll stay close. I like Zion. I like Zion a lot. And then for the Thunder, too, like SGA and Chet. And then is Aaron Wiggins going to play 35 minutes? Asking for a friend. Is he going to play 35 minutes? He came back last game, played 29. If they're without Wallace, too? Wallace? Then the Pistons and the Nuggets. Denver gets almost all of their guys back. No Jokic tonight, no Aaron Gordon, but JV, Watson, and Jamal should be back. And then they go. Jokic should be back, I think, later this week. But yeah, no Aaron Gordon with the hammy. Sorry, guys, we might wrap up here in a second. I'm not feeling awesome. Not feeling awesome. But I think it's in my head. You ever do that? Where you're like, I got a little shortness of breath. We're coughing a lot. But then that's all I'm thinking about, which I think is what's happening here. It's in your head. Anyways, Detroit here. Jalen Duren, like, are we ever going to get Duren's ceiling again? Ever? I feel like it's whack-a-mole, Jalen Duren. Like Jamal Murray, though, quite a bit. Oh, Doovie! Let's go, Doovie. Doovie checks in once a year. Hell yeah, brother. Doovie with the doobies. Good to see you, man. But yeah, I like Cade. Cade should cook. Cooking with Cade. Shout out NBA Top Shot. Actually, let's do this. Just for the vibes.
Well, the Top Shot streets are a dangerous place, so
We're not doing the whole thing, but I wanted to do that. We'll end with that, though. That's what we'll end with. Anyways, yeah, I like Jamal Murray here. I like Cade. I'll get some Peyton Watson. Maybe my name is Jonas. Does Jonas play like 30 minutes? That'd be fun. 2 games left here. Brooklyn Nets against the PDX, the Phoenix Suns. Dylan Brooks, no Devin Booker. Dylan Brooks, Dylan Cooks, Grayson Allen, Colin Gillespie. Can I interest you in 27 minutes of Marquis Williams, huh? And then on the Brooklyn side, I don't know, bro. Yegor Demon made the Rising Stars game over Ugo Gonzalez. Call the cops. Are you kidding me? What? Give me Ugo, bro. I don't need to see Yegor Demon. Anyways, Clippers and the Jazz last game of the night. Kawhi Leonard has a Q tag because that's what Kawhi be doing. He be Qing. I like Kawhi. Q tag against John Stockton's QAnon Jazz. I like Kawhi tonight. I think he's going to play. I think #Hardon's going to play. No Keontae. They already ruled him out. So Lowry Markkanen's back. I'm assuming we get 24 minutes of Lowry Markkanen. We're going to see how Will Hardy and the Jazz mess us up. We'll see. All right, dogs. I'm going to call it there. Because I am out of gas. I don't know what's going on. But I hope everybody has a good day. We'll be back here tomorrow. Oh, QI, a nice regular. There you go. Good bounce back spot after your 50 burger thing this morning. Actually, I appreciate you doing that. That was a lot of fun. We'll be back here tomorrow morning with the old #NBA bit. Go check out Bagel with Locks. And then 89 Cavs is happening this week. I think it's going to be Wednesday or Thursday. I'm waiting to hear back from the boys. But we'll be back later this week. Yeah, get after it. Stay warm. We'll see you guys mañana. Have a good one.
Well, the top shot streets